Imagine waking up every day without remembering anything from your past, and then immediately forgetting that you even woke up at all. This life without memories is a reality for British musician Clive Wearing, who suffers from the most severe case of amnesia ever known. So who is Clive Wearing? Well, Clive Wearing was born on May 11th of 1938. He was an accomplished musicologist, keyboardist, conductor, music producer, and professional tenor at the Westminster Cathedral. On March 27th of 1985, he contracted a virus that attacked his central nervous system, resulting in a brain infection. And ever since that day, Clive's life was changed forever. The rare neurological condition called herpes encephalitis caused profound and irreparable damage to Clive's hippocampus. Now, the hippocampus is the part of the brain that plays an important role in consolidating short-term memory into long-term memory. It's essential for recalling facts and remembering how, where, and when a certain event happened. Anyways, Clive's hippocampus and his medial temporal lobes were ravaged by this disease. As a consequence, he was left with both anterograde amnesia, which is the inability to make or keep new memories, and retrograde amnesia, which is the loss of past memories. Clive's rare dual retrograde and anterograde amnesia, also known as total amnesia, is one of the most extreme cases of memory loss ever recorded. In psychology, the phenomenon is often referred to as 30-second Clive, in reference to Clive Wearing's case. First of all, let's go over what anterograde amnesia is. So anterograde amnesia is the loss of the possibility to make new memories after a certain event that caused the condition. It could be an injury or an illness, and people with anterograde amnesia don't recall their recent past and are not able to make new memories. The duration of Clive's short-term memory is anywhere between 7 seconds and 30 seconds. He simply can't remember what he was doing a few minutes ago. He also can't recognize people that he had just met. By the time he gets to the end of a sentence, Clive may have already forgotten what he was talking about. And it's impossible for him to watch a movie or read a book, since he can't remember any sentences before the last one. And because he has no memory of previous events, Clive constantly thinks that he has just awoken a coma. In a way, his consciousness is rebooted every 30 seconds. It restarts as soon as the time span of his short-term memory has elapsed. Next, I want to go over retrograde amnesia. So retrograde amnesia is a loss of memory of events that occurred before the onset. Retrograde amnesia is usually gradual, and recent memories are more likely to be lost than older ones. Due to Clive's severe case of retrograde amnesia, however, Clive doesn't remember anything that happened in his entire life. He completely lacks the episodic or autobiographical memory, the memory of his own personal experience. Now here's the interesting thing though. Although he can't remember them, Clive does know certain things that have happened in his life. He is aware, for example, that he has children from a previous marriage, even though he doesn't remember their specific names or actually any detail about them. He knows that he used to be a musician, yet he has no recollection of any part of his career. Clive also knows that he has a wife. In fact, his second wife, Deborah, is the only person he recognizes. When Deborah enters the room, Clive greets her with great joy and affection. However, he has no episodic memories of Deborah, and no memories of their life together. For him, each meeting with her is the first one. But he does know that she is his wife, and he's happy to see her. His memory of emotions associated with Deborah provokes his reaction, even in the absence of episodic memory. Now, in spite of his complex amnesia, Clive still has some type of memories that remain intact, including semantic and procedural memory. Clive Wearing's case shows that memory is not as simple as we might think. Although the physical location of memory remains largely unknown, scientists believe that different types of memory are stored in neural networks in different parts of the brain. One thing that we are sure of, though, is that memory can be categorized to be studied further. So let's go over some specific types of memory and how they relate to Clive's story. First is semantic memory. So semantic memory is our general factual knowledge, like knowing the capital of France, or the months that are contained in a year. Semantics is actually the study of words. So you can think about this like as vocabulary memory. Studies show that retrieving episodic and semantic memories activate different areas of the brain. The interesting thing about Clive is that despite his amnesia, he still has much of his semantic memory and retains some humor and intelligence. Next up, we have procedural memory. Now, Clive may not have any episodic memories of his life before the illness, but he has a largely unimpaired procedural memory and some residual learning capacity. Basically, procedural memory, or muscle memory, is remembering how to perform everyday actions, like tying shoelaces, writing, or using a knife or a fork. People can usually retain procedural memories even after they have forgotten being taught how to do them. This is why Clive's procedure memory, including language abilities or performing motor tasks like using his hands, that he learned prior to his brain damage are unchanged. Using procedural memory, Clive can learn new skills and facts through repetition. If he hears a certain piece of information repeated over and over and over again, he can actually eventually retain it, although he doesn't know when he heard it or where he heard it from. While episodic memory is mainly encoded in the hippocampus, the encoding of the procedural memory actually takes place in different parts of the brain, and in particular the cerebellum, which, in Clive's case, has actually not been damaged. Next up is musical memory. Musical memory has been perfectly preserved even decades after the onset of his amnesia. In fact, a lot of people who suffer from amnesia often have exceptional musical memories. Research shows that these memories are stored in a part of a brain that is separate from the regions involved in long-term memory. This is why Clive is capable of reading music, playing complex piano and organ pieces, and even conducting a choir. The sad thing is, just minutes after his performance, he will have no recollection of ever playing an instrument or having any musical knowledge at all. As we wrap this video up, you may be wondering, is Clive Wearing still alive? Well, he actually is. Clive Wearing is in his 80s and lives in a residential care facility. One interesting thing is that recent reports show that he continues to improve. He actually renewed his vows with his wife in 2002, and his wife actually wrote a memoir about her experiences with him.